Welcome to I Survive La Chancla, where we dive into the stories that shape us, challenge us, and make us stronger. New episodes come out every Friday, so make sure to follow and join me each week for another chapter in my journey. Hi, I am Carmela, your host and fellow survivor, here to share voices, truths, and experiences that connect us all. Want to join the conversation? Follow me on social media, Facebook, Chancla Survivor on Facebook, and use hashtag I Survive La Chancla. And if you got a story to tell, reach out. We love to have you as a guest. Hey, welcome to my podcast, I Survive La Chancla, episode 9. I want to thank you for coming back and tuning in. I know I've been gone a couple of weeks. I had to do a move. Now I'm situated and getting this party started. Today, I have a really important topic, because this topic is one of those in our culture that usually doesn't get discussed in public or doesn't get discussed at all. It's often overlooked, not taken serious, and it comes with a stigma. Yes, we will be talking about that today. I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone is good and in good spirit, ready for the holidays. We're now on November. Just imagine Christmas is next month. Wow. This year went by so fast. The numbers are high for the Hispanics and mental health. Like I said, because there's a stigma that comes with it. And it's that you're weak. You're weak. If you have any mental health issues, it's a sign of you being weak. And we don't want to be labeled as weak. We are some, I don't want to say the wrong word, but we just don't believe in it, really. And because of that, a lot of people have suffered in silence. In the older generation, they would tell you that it's something that it's in your head. It's all in your head. You don't have anything. Go take a shower, ve bañate, and you'll feel better. Move around or something. It's not a illness to us. It's not. And that's why, with this, like Hispanics, they would like to keep their problems within the family and solutionize them problems within the family and not speak about it in public. This is one of those things where if it is, taken serious or whatever, then it would be within the family. And nobody's going to go say nothing because it's between the family. Depression comes in so many forms that you couldn't sit there and be like, oh, I know he's depressed. Besides if they're showing symptoms, like straight up symptoms. But it's like one of those things you never know what anybody else is going through, right? So that's why we shouldn't judge. Imagine that person, I'm just an example. Imagine that person that you could have opened the door for at the store, but you didn't. Maybe they were going through a bad day, or maybe they were having a bad day or something, You just never know who's experiencing mental health issues, So with the evolution of mental health, this new generation, I give it to them on that because they make mental health issues. They have normalized talking about mental health issues. Social media has a big influence on the new generation being more open to speaking about mental health issues. Whatever it is that made them, that it's doing it, they're doing, I believe it's a good way, like social media, making it more open, normalizing it. They're normalizing talking about mental health issues. But what I think about that is it could also go over with the younger generation that really doesn't know what mental health issues are. But because movies like, I don't want to say it wrong, In and Out or something like that, where the little girl experiences all these emotions, now because they saw it, they're over here, oh, I got anxiety. My 2 kids, after coming out of the movies, were talking about they had anxiety because they had just seen the movie. First of all, they don't even know how to spell anxiety. No, I'm kidding. They do. But they didn't know what anxiety was. They could not sit there and tell me what anxiety was, but they were experiencing it. That's where I think that it gets misconstrued. I don't think it should be like be putting it out like, hey kids, this is what this is, or I don't know. I just think that they're maybe too young to know what it is. And it wasn't only my two. I've heard other kids too. Oh, I have insomnia, or I'm depressed. Like, come on. You just think that depressed is being sad, but it's not. There's a lot more to it. So this new generation, like I said, they're taking it to a whole new level, and I think that's awesome. That's awesome that it's more open to speak about. I think if mental health was taken a little more serious, it could have saved lives. Because all these shootings that you hear about, mass shootings, usually end up being about somebody, they were done by somebody who was mentally unstable. And no, they were not trying to address their issues. Instead, they go do something stupid. But mental health needs to be taken seriously. There are some people that don't know how to navigate life with it. There's some of the barriers are not having access to quality mental health care. There's not enough Spanish speaking psychiatrists or mental health care specialists that can help our community because there's not too many Spanish speaking ones. So these are barriers that we have to face whenever we're trying to take care of your mental health. It's not impossible. It may be hard, but not impossible. And depression, like I said, it's not only about being sad. There's a lot of factors that could go into depression. And I'm going to share some with you. And I just want to throw this in. If you or anyone else is experiencing, issues with mental health, I'm going to leave some numbers on the episode notes. Please use those. Please get some help or learn strategies to live with the illness. I'll talk about some more stuff that you could do at the end. So there's some factors that go into depression. Like I said, it's not only about being sad. There are genetics. I had a hard time believing that one because in my mind, I'm like, because my mom was sad, I'm going to be sad. Well, goddamn, I was. My mom was sad, now I'm sad. Life events. So it doesn't have to be like you're depressed forever. It could be a life event that happened, the loss of a loved one, that, or just changes, life changes. Health problems like thyroid. You have the one that, you have that thyroid, the thickest high thyroid, where you have to take medication, and that medication causes weight gain, and weight gain causes depression. Obesity is another one that can contribute to depression, to mental health, because if you gain weight, then obviously you're not doing something healthy. You're not moving around or whatever. And so when people gain weight, what do? You get upset. You get depressed because you start seeing your body change, and you're not cool with it. And substance abuse. A lot of those numbers too are also high for Hispanics. The ones that end up turning to substance abuse and alcohol, and that can ultimately turn into depression. Being on drugs and alcohol is no walk in the park. I think that can factor in with depression. There are some ways, though, if you are experiencing, depression, that you don't feel comfortable asking for help, but because maybe you're in the Hispanic culture and it's not easy for you to go ask, your parents for help or talk to your parents about mental health. Just speaking on it. You don't even have to be asking for help. The older generation, they're not educated. They're not educated on the matter. They're not educated on the stuff that comes out with depression. If they were taught or maybe educated a little more, maybe they would be more to accepting and not seeing it such like a bad thing. The Hispanic culture are very judgmental. Don't let them tell you they're not. We are judgmental, whether we want to say it or not. But I think now we're in an era where we're seeing it more open with the younger generation, that maybe we could see some doors opening and maybe taking that step to get a better understanding on mental health. Another thing that most, or not most, but a lot of Hispanics, and where our numbers were high at, were Hispanics that had PTSD. I believe that a lot of the PTSD comes, well, it is from trauma, but I'm talking about like stuff that we were pushed under the rug. Maybe that wasn't taken care of or whatever, and it just boils over. And as an adult is when the depression started coming in. And then you don't know how to deal with it. There are many ways that you can learn to live, cope with it if you're not going to get help. There is sleep regularly. Sleep and exercise regularly. That'll get your mood going. That will change, put you in a good mood, and then that also help prevent depression. Eating healthy and exercising regularly. Another one, deep breathing techniques. Whenever you need to, learn some deep breathing techniques. Help you get to the heart. Help you get through the hard times. Journaling. Journal, your thoughts, your feelings, what angers you or what's making you happy or what is the issue. Journal it. A lot of people don't like talking about it. So maybe if you write it down, you'll get it out of you. And so it'll, help you. These are just a few things that you can do if you feel like depression is creeping in. And like I said, a lot of people in our culture will not seek help. I think they said like 40% will not seek help, and they will just live with it. Depression has affected me in my life. I had to learn some techniques on how to live with it or cope with it. And some, like the one I do is self-talk, constantly self-talk. Like it says, exercise regularly. And that's where I do see that, because I remember I used to go for a run and I would feel badass when I got back. But it's like sometimes you can't. Well, I couldn't because I had arthritis on top of that shit. So you can't even move, but you got to exercise regularly. So I made myself. I didn't let myself come up with an excuse, oh, you arthritis, unless it's like really, really hurting. I would make myself go for a run or for a walk. I'll be like, come on, let's go. You don't have a choice. Let's go. Again, in my head, tying my shoes, putting on my shit. And I'm bitching the whole time. Oh, I'm bitching the whole time. Like, bitch, you ain't got to do this. Ain't nobody watching you. But I'm doing it for myself. And I know this will help me with my depression. So I would go for a run, for a walk, and I'd be bitching the whole fucking time. But you know what I was doing? I was out there exercising, getting some sunlight. That's another thing too. Sunlight helps with depression. Getting outside, getting some fresh air. It's sad that our culture, our community got hit real hard with this, but like I said, it was because of lack of knowledge on the older generation. I hope the newer generation continues what they're doing, takes it seriously when it needs to be taken seriously, and just be there for somebody. If you see somebody or you feel like they're depressed, go, what I'm saying? Hey, hi, how are you doing? Something, we got to be there for each other. Our community, we got to help each other out. When one bitch is down, man, let's go get her up. Let's find a way. Let's not be that stigma where we're still thinking that this is for the weak, that this is you being a sissy, not being able to handle your shit. Because life can throw you some fucking curveballs, dude. When you think everything's all going, all fine and shit, everything, can't nothing go wrong, boom, it does go wrong. Learning how to deal with like life events and stuff like that, it's hard. It's hard. So that's why I think, what depression will creep up easily on that. Or sometimes depression could be creeping up and you don't even realize it until you start pinpointing the symptoms, which the symptoms can be fatigue, insomnia, weight loss, just loss of interest in the things that once used to bring you joy. You don't feel like doing that shit no more. And I know exactly how that feels. I'm going to tell you a little story. Story time. This is how I experienced that mental health issues were not something you even talk to with the kid. I remember my mom, I came home from school one day and I had to go to my grandma's house. Well, when I got there, my grandma just told me, go get some clothes from your house or whatever. And I'm like, why? Where's my mom? Well, your mom's not here. Well, where's she at? Your mom will come back another time. She's not here right now. So I go do it. You know what I'm saying? I go do what I was told. And then again, I would ask, where's my mom? Your mom will be back. Your mom will be back. Not today, but your mom will be back. It was whispers between my, you know what I'm saying, the family members that knew what was going on, but wouldn't say because I guess they thought it wasn't important for me to know because I was a kid. So I stayed at my grandma's day in, day out for like 2-3 weeks. And then one day out of the blue, my mom was there. And I was like, oh my God, hugging her and everything. I missed her so much. I'm like, where were you? She wouldn't say. She would not say. I don't remember exactly what she told me, but she would not say. I did not find out until I was like an adult. And we were talking about mental health, and she told me that she goes, that time that I left, because my mom's never left like that. That was the only time. She's like, you remember that time I left when you were little? And I was like, yeah. She's like, I had a lot of things going on in my mind. I couldn't handle it. She just couldn't handle, life. I guess she had a nervous breakdown. So my mom went to go stay at a place, for 2-3 weeks to help her get her, her mind right. And I commend her for that because especially in a time where mental health issues were looked down on. But I could see how they say that they keep that in between the family because I didn't even know. I did not even know. And my mom, my aunt, and my grandma did. And they didn't say nothing. And so I'm glad she didn't suffer in silence. And I'm glad she went and got the help that she needed. I just wish they were a bit more open with me, So I just know what it's like living with somebody with depression, my mom. But she learned, her how to cope with it. I mean, how to, deal with it, live with it. I remember she would put lipstick on and put music on whenever she was feeling down, like trying to get herself up. I commend my mom because she was experiencing mental health issues on the low while being a nurse. So that, like, dang, I could just imagine I couldn't imagine what she was going through. So that's my episode. But I want to end this note. I want to end on this note. Please get help, especially if you are too afraid to get, let your parents know, let family know, whatever. There's other ways you can get help. I'm going to put some numbers on there, like I said, on my episode notes. Please use those. Take care of yourself, love yourself. Because if you do not take care of yourself and you're not right in the head, you can't take care of anybody else. No, you cannot. No matter how much you think you can, you will not be able to do it. We got to be right in the mind. Seek help. Don't be afraid anymore. It's a different time. If someone's not believing you or doesn't, they're still on that stigma or whatever, educate them. Show them some knowledge. Maybe they'll open up and understand more. But that's the end of my episode 9. Now it is time for my favorite part, which is Nosy Neighbor. Hi, I'm your nosy neighbor. This is the part of my show where I will share an experience that I've had with one of my neighbors. Some are crazy, some are weird, and some are just plain out funny, but not this one. Okay, so we lived in these apartments. Really, it's not that I moved a lot. It's that we had a lot of neighbors move. Like I would stay in one spot. Okay. Not to think that I just moved different places or whatever. So there was a guy. He was like 32 at the time. And I remember when he moved in, he was this, young guy or whatever. And we talked a couple times. I'd be outside getting some fresh air, whatever. He'd be out there and, we would just talk or whatever. And so he told me that he's had a rough background. He had some problems with his parents, abusing him. I think his dad really used to beat him, and I'm not sure what else he had, but he had some unresolved issues. And So he started doing heroin with one of the little known druggies around the neighborhood. I remember when I would ask him like, why? You know what? He would not answer me, wouldn't say anything. So this one day, I took off to the store, and I was grocery shopping. And when I had forgotten my card, so I had to come back. When I came back, I saw one of my sons coming from the patio of my neighbor, and then he just told me, he was like, "Mom, Matthew's just laid out on the patio on the floor, and he had a needle sticking out of his arm." So I told my son to get inside. I went over there and I went to go see, and sure enough, it was my neighbor with the needle stuck in his arm. But when the first time when I had left to the store, I saw that guy, that known druggie or whatever. I saw him taking off from his house, and he was walking in a way that just wasn't someone just walking away. It was like if he was hiding something, because he kept looking back, and I just thought it was weird. I noted that. So then when I came back and I saw that, I was like, this motherfucker, he really left him there. I don't know if he would have gotten help. Probably could have made it. I don't know. But ultimately, this guy was going through shit. And like it says, Hispanics are, we're high up in there using the drugs and alcohol, substances. And that's what he turned to instead of getting help for his issues. And now he's not here. So there's bad things that can happen with depression not being addressed, or mental health issues. There are a lot of mental health issues. I focus more on depression because I've experienced it. So, R.I.P. Matthew. Sad to see a young life, taken away because of drug abuse and depression. So take care of each other. You see somebody down, go pick that bitch up. Say, come on, man, let's go for a walk. Something, you can help somebody get out of their funk. Go by going for a walk, talking to them, whatever, just be there if you see somebody needs something, because more likely they're not going to ask for it. They're not going to go to you and be like, I need to talk. I really need to talk. More than likely they won't do that. So like I said, take care of each other. Use those numbers if you need them. Se bañan, se tallan y se toman el agua. Peace.